Hey everyone, and welcome to this next edition of the Snapchat. I am joined today, as always, by Cozy Snap. Cozy, how you doing today, buddy?
What's up, man? Doing well, doing fantastic. Excited for another episode of our podcast. Man, we had some fun talking about my subjects, and I'm excited to break down yours as well.
Yeah, absolutely. For those that are new, it's worth noting that basically when you watch this video, you are watching half of the entire podcast. The other half is going to be available on Cozy's channel. It is linked in the description, in the comments. It's linked at the end of this video. If you're looking for it, you're going to find it, I promise. And we talk about some amazing stuff there. It's a great conversation. In fact, a little spoiler alert, M'Baku is the best card in Series 4. Let's actually move on. That's the Cozy can barely, he's barely holding it in here. Okay, that's a lie. Don't want to spoil our final impressions, one could say, in our tier list. But M'Baku did not get as much love as one might have thought.
No, not
Cozy?
not much love. Not much love. Yeah, on my channel, we talked about updates we want to see the most come to the game. We talked about hidden gems with Leech being in the meta or out now. What are some other ones that you're not playing that you should? And then lastly, yes, we ranked our final impressions. And, you know, Alex spoiled it. M'Baku, could he be legit? Could he? Maybe.
Yeah, legit horrible. Anyways, so let's actually talk about our bundles today. Well, let's talk about our topics today, which is the bundle prices are too damn high. That's the first thing we're going to be talking about. And then we're going to talk about the leader and leech problem, which has emerged in the meta. And then finally, we're going to be ranking the deck archetypes, you know, just to get our general sense on where the deck archetypes stand in the current meta of Marvel Snap. So let's actually get started, Cozy, with the bundle prices are too damn high. Now, I love this because, so Cozy, you're recording on your screen here. And can you explain to me what you've done here?
I'm weak.
Because what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a topic where I'm supposed to be complaining about how the bundle prices are so damn high that I can't see anybody buying it.
Who would buy it?
And then I look at the screen here and I see a sold on your screen, and I'm wondering, Cozy, what have you done?
I've had prouder moments. I've had a prouder moment. Listen, okay, first of all, I guess my wife knows now that that I bought this bundle. Yeah, here's the thing, man. Absolutely, I bought it. All right, I'm ashamed of it. I am a huge X-Men guy, and so I had to. I folded, man. I folded quickly on it. It is too damn high, though. It is too damn high, but apparently not high enough for me to fold on the bundle itself. Dude, I'm excited to talk about this subject. It's something I've wanted to talk about for a while, these bundles all together. Just overall, like, the battle between supporting the game and then, like, they're too damn high, right? What are your first, like, initial impressions of the bundle?
My first initial impressions is this is my damn fault. I actually made multiple videos when the game first released. I made a video where I said one of the biggest problems in Marvel Snap right now that no one's talking about is that the game's basically so damn free that I'm scared we're not gonna be able to support the dev team. I was like legitimate. There was a point in time, like within the first few weeks of Marvel Snap coming out, where I'm like, this is the best game I've ever played. This is one of my favorite games I've ever, if not my favorite game I've ever played. And I don't want it to disappear because Second Dinner's not making money. And I'm like, I made a video about that. It got lots of views. And people are like, yeah, this is too free. And I'm like, oh, we're so stupid. Why did we do that? Like, talk about being careful what you wish for. Because like, so the Apocalypse bundle comes out, right? Which is just below there, the cyber. I bet you Cozy already bought it. I know you bought it, of course. So that one there is like over $100. I think it is $100 American, isn't it? It was like 120 Canadian for me.
It was $100.
Yeah. When that came out, I was like, all right, this is super expensive, insanely expensive. However, they have not asked me for any money basically up until this point. This game's amazing. I'm getting a lot of credits, a lot of tokens, which at the time were super valuable. The Apocalypse variant I thought was cool. Hey, look at those boosters. And I'm like, you know what? I want to support the team. So I threw the money in, $120. I'm actually so nervous saying that out loud because if my wife hears this. Anyways, she doesn't watch the podcast. But anyways, I'm like, okay, $120. It's all right. It's all right, Cozy. Let's do it. Let's support the team because we got to. It's such a great game. And then this bundle came out, and I was looking at it, and I was like, it was $40 Canadian. $40 Canadian. Let's break down. First of all, for the auditory listeners, $40 Canadian in the Hearts Wild gets you a Gambit variant, a Rogue variant, 1,500 credits, and 2 avatars for each one avatar for Rogue, 1 avatar for Gambit. Now, the problem that I'm in, Cozy, is that the $40 price tag Canadian, was it 29 United States dollars? Or?
Yeah, 29.
Yeah, conversion rates. So it's going to be whatever it is, your local currency. It is obscenely expensive. Like to the point where like I would consider myself a bit of a whale. But clearly there's a difference between me whale and you whale because it sold you and me. I am like physically uncomfortable. I am laying in bed at night thinking about the Hearts Wild bundle because I want to buy it, but like I feel like it is pulling on some heartstring that I wish wasn't being pulled on. Like I feel like in some way, like there's someone somewhere with like super thick glasses behind like 100 monitors, and they're tracking everybody, and they're like, who's gonna bite? What's the highest that we can charge that someone's gonna bite? What's the break even? And like, I don't want to be part of the tally, man. I don't know how to put it.
Yeah, no, I get it, dude. Hey, 6 minutes dedicated to just the raw emotions of the Hearts Wild bundle. That's when you know. That's when you know there's some deep cut emotions there. Yeah, man, I get it, dude. I for sure, 100%. My thoughts on the bundle. First of all, again, big X-Men fan. That's why I got it. Okay. As far as the bundle itself, okay. First of all, I think if we could tell, they're just like testing the waters, right, with the bundle cost. They're like, yeah, we'll throw this out there, see if they buy this. And they kind of need to because they didn't do that during the beta, I guess. So they're trying to like just see what sticks and what doesn't. Clearly, the feedback is giving me like, hey, too damn high. This is just terrible value. And they've kind of got themselves into a pickle. I've seen different things suggested. The welcome bundle, if that came with a variant each week and you get the gold with it as well for the $5, $10, whatever, great. That'd be fantastic. I think the problem is the resources and how people value these variants. Like variants don't really have a price tag. Titles don't really have a price tag to them. What I hated is it was dollar signs. That just sucks. I hate that there's a time limit behind it. If you left them in there for like a long time and they were gold and you could save up if you really like the cards, that's one deal. When you look, here's the thing. The argument for is like, oh, if you look at other mobile games. Honestly, those games are getting outdated, man. I think mobile gaming in general, a lot of the monetization is just BS. It is such terrible predatory systems that I cannot stand. So if you compare it to that, sure. I don't want to compare it to that. On a global scale, it's also terrible for currency if you just look across not just US and Canada, but past that. I'm not. Here's the thing. They're outpricing their whales. You're correct. People want to support the game. But even this is way far past that support, unless your name's Cozy, level that most people are comfortable with. Like, that's when you have a problem. Like, there's whales, and then there's full-blown, Jack Sparrow stabbing into the Krakens that would, that this kind of aims for. Now, the thing about it, though, is, okay, they need to be putting resources into this. Heck, collector tokens would have been, if they just put the collector tokens, then whatever. Maybe we would have had a different conversation about it. That's the problem. Now, the resources, you can't make it too good of a deal because then it's paid to win, is what people are going to say. If you don't put the time limit, then people could save up for the bundles, Alex. So it's a delicate situation. I think, and I don't think, they're going to fix it. They're going to figure it out. They're going to make it better. There is more bundles coming. And, they're not out yet. We've seen them. A lot of us have seen them. You guys can go to Reddit and these other things to go and see the bundles. The biggest issue is that when you buy these, you get the cards, right? So if someone spent $30, they just got into pool 3, boom, Gambit, boom, Rogue. They're not game-changing, but they're nice cards to have. There's a Sarah bundle coming. There's some issues down the line that I'm worried about when it comes to unlocking the card ahead of time. At the same time, the other argument is, I'm sorry, I've got all these cards and I still don't use some of them. Like, there's so many meta decks and things like that. So I think it's lazy to say it's pay to win. This game is not pay to win, and I don't think it's going to be. It's lazy to say that. It's just it's a gut feel comment you want to say. But $30, man, what would you price this? What would you price it?
That's funny you say that because I had this conversation on Twitch. And honestly, for me, it was $40 Canadian. Even at $20,
It's laughable.
it's not cheap.
No.
Even at $20, it's not cheap. Like at half, because like here's the thing, you nailed it, right? Like a lot of these items have no intrinsic value. Like it's purely cosmetic, and yes, the credits or whatever, but like the avatars and like, so what are we pricing this Gambit and Rogue at? The ultra rare $1,200 gold one, basically, right? And even those, we've had conversations about how expensive they are, right?
Yeah.
Like it's insanely expensive. And then so like it's just one of those situations where it's like what's the goal? Like, is the goal to determine like what's the highest possible price that you can charge for something? But like, I don't know. Like in some ways, I feel like we have to vote with our wallets. But the other side of it is like, I love this game and I want Second Dinner to be incredibly successful.
Yeah.
Like they've made an incredible game and they deserve to get paid. Every one of them, this game deserves to make money, like of all games. But you're telling me that for two variants, some credits and avatars, which I could care less about, honestly, I could basically either buy this or I could buy God of War on sale. Like
Yeah.
literally I could buy God of War like on Steam. Like
Yeah.
it's like what?
Dude, yeah, it's definitely. Here's the thing, right? To chop it up, there's nothing more that I want for Second Dinner Marvel Snap. If you guys are listening to this podcast, like I want this game to get monetized. I know it's a business. There are people that report to people. Like, guys, get your head out of the water. Whales pay for this game. I'm paying for this so that free to play can continue to play it, right? All the whales combine, people combine, so that it funds the game. That's how these games work. Period. In a discussion, for the most part, Marvel Snap is very friendly, and I'll always stand against that. But yes, this one right here, trash value. We can all agree there. They're gonna have to figure it out. They're gonna have to get better there. No question about it. But I do think they need to find the right split. Don't make it worth dollars. The only thing I can get behind here, and I don't know, dude, I don't know. But like Martin Garrix, that probably cost money to get him to do a collaboration with Marvel Snap. Was their bundle percentage splits to afford that? I don't know, right? There's so many things it's a business. I don't know how it works, but for this coming into the game, it's insulting in a lot of ways.
I know. And here's a huge problem too, okay? So you do that, that video is incredible. Like, talk about amazing content marketing for the game. Like, that is god tier. Like, that video is what a commercial could never be. Like, it is so well done. You win the game of the year award for mobile game. Incredible. And then people come into the game and they see this. This is the first impression of their monetization. They come into the game, which is supposed to be a free-to-play game, and they see a $40 bundle with 2 cards in it. $40 bundle. That, to me, that's a really negative first impression. That is like, ho, this game likes my wallet.
Yeah.
Like, that is terrifying for someone who really doesn't know the history.
Yeah,
it might send a scary first impression.
It's just tough because I come from mobile games, and so like they don't do a lot of predatory things those games do. There's not pop-ups that come up every time you log in that say buy this bundle now. I'm gonna be the defense on this. I will say that they're better than most, man. If you don't come from mobile games, I get it. It's like, what the hell? If you do, you're like, yeah, dude, I've seen this before. So I don't know. I think, like, guys, we could get our pitchforks out. Like, we don't always have to get mad at something, but I do agree this is something that is just like, come on, they missed the mark. Like, they missed the mark, and we could just say they missed the mark, and they definitely need to figure that out.
And I know we want to move on, but at the same time, there is one last thing I kind of want to add to this here, and I think Cozy, you'll probably ultimately agree, is that like it's one of these situations where like Second Dinner has shown us, they have shown us in the past that they are listening, that they are paying attention, that they are taking this feedback seriously. Like, they're not just like, whatever. This is just for the whales. Who cares what everyone else says? I think they actually do care. Like, I think they've shown it multiple times that they're listening to the community, that they do care. So as much as I get like a little amped up and, whatever, but like, I do think ultimately this conversation is super important to have.
Yeah.
Because when we have this conversation, Cozy, and when people have it on Reddit and on Twitter and everything, like, the team is listening. Like, I know they are. And as a result, like, we're making a game better. They are going to take this and they're going to run with it, because what's going to happen is they're going to say, okay, we got the feedback. We're listening. How can we make this right? Because yes, we want them to be a successful company. We want them to monetize properly. We want them to be profitable. Like, these are all things we want. But the way this landed, I think it's off. But they've proven to us that they are willing to I don't want to say learn from their mistakes, because it's not even a mistake. It's more of like a misstep. Right? It's kind of a misstep.
It's not
a mistake.
It's not that big of a deal. It's not like they release, this as the Sarah bundle and everyone got Sarah, then they don't know how to backpedal from that. Like, it's Rogue Gambit. It was it is what, it is. It's a laughable, like, LOL, what it is, like, when you look up to someone like Tom Brady and he has a bad game or whatever, you're like, dang, man, you're Tom Brady. This is game of the year. So I think that's why it's getting so much criticism. It's like, oh, come on. Marvel Snap, I expected better from you. That's where it is, really. It's like, oh, I was a bit disappointed. But at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, I do want to know what you said about it's important to call that out. Hell yeah, dude. Being yes men, especially as content creators, screw that. We've got to say our opinions. Like, it doesn't matter if we put anything at risk for that. Like, that's what makes games healthy. If you look at so many back history games, Battlefront 2, these games that, like, people stood up and then it got changed. I will say confidently, second dinner and Marvel Snap, they're not about just getting the buck. And I've seen that from the Nexus events. I've seen that from just the being able to see the team. So, you can get that out of your head. But yeah, I agree, buddy. These were all good talks about it. And I'm glad we talked about it. It was very important to, get that release out, but also so others feel validated for what their feelings are too.
Yeah, and also like again, if you're listening to this podcast or you're watching the video version, I actually want to read your comment on it because it's one of those things where it's like it's really kind of polarizing because in some ways, like listen, I think this bundle, and I don't want to rag on this, but like it actually, like I thought I was never not going to buy a bundle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought I was going to buy everything. I never thought in my head that I would ever be in a situation as a Marvel Snap creator and massive fan of the game that I would look at a bundle and say, I'm not going to buy that. And that's kind of where I am. And you know what the worst part is, Cozy? I'm looking at your screen right now. 2 days, 4 hours. I still have to fight 2 days and 4 hours.
Yeah, it's a time limit thing for sure.
I'm going to break, buddy. I'm going to have this bundle. I'm going to buy it because I'm just going to buy it. I know I am. I'm
Right.
going to ultimately buy it, and I'm going to be part of the tally where they're like, tick, we did it. One more whale.
I just
And I'm
wish,
like, damn it, I didn't vote with my wallet. I voted the wrong way. But
yeah,
this was a very healthy conversation. I think it had to happen.
yeah, and to close on it, again, collector tokens would have just made it feel a bit better because then you're like, okay, cool variants, but then I'm getting another choice of some cards that I want, what does that do? It unlocks one more card for somebody if they give 3,000 away or whatever, 2 more, 3 more, whatever. I don't know. That's where they've got to figure that out. And I know they're trying to balance pissing off free to play to not be paid to win, but giving value too. Awesome subject, man. I'm glad we got that out. What do we got in store for the rest of the Snapchat, sir?
All right, we got to talk about Leader and Leech. And this is incredible because, like, Leader became a problem a little earlier, one could say. And then Leech was like, hey, what's up? Boom. And it's partially your fault, by the way, that Leech is so prevalent. Why do you got to make videos that are so good featuring such a broken card that nobody really realized, Cozy? How dare you make good content that reveals Leech as an excellent card? Damn it, Cozy. What have you done?
Credit goes to Dara JN, the guy that's the guy. Like, usually, I'll be honest, I think claiming decks as your own is stupid. No one can do it. Period. It's existed somewhere else before. Dara JN, there's a content creator. He made the deck, and he made the exact build spread everywhere because it's his build, right? And I've seen other things like, oh, this is my great Leech deck. I'm like, no, it's not. This is something you've seen a ton of. This is from that man. But I made the content to highlight the deck, and it happened to be the day of the meta deck report, which just kind of spread it like wildfire. I've never seen in Snap ever one card and one deck take over quickly, that fast, that noticeable. It's kind of crazy. We'll talk about Leader in a second. I agree. Leech, though. So the thing about Leech, guys, is Leech is kind of like Sandman in the sense of he's going to be played more to counter decks that are currently hot. And Leech got a lot of play with Lamentis 3. Or Lamentis, is it 3 or 1? I forgot. Lamentis from the Loki show. And the thing about Leech's value is actually like, it kind of feels weird playing him. In ramp, it's great, but goodness gracious, has this deck taken over. And man, there are so many things to talk about. I had a counter video up that mainly addressed, I talked about all the meta decks, Alex, but then I talked about just Leech and Leader specifically as cards and how to counter them. I had to. People are asking. People want to know. Man, Leech counters Death Wave. Leech counters Sarah. Leech counters Silver Surfer. What a free-to-play gem in Pool 1.
I have a question for you. Why do you have to put this variant on the screen? Can you do me a favor? Can you describe?
Great. You don't like it?
Can you describe to the community, the audio listeners, what is looking at me right now? Because it's extremely unsettling.
Yes.
I need you to do description.
I'm gonna start with guys. I get he's not an alien. For fun, I say alien. Okay. Like again, it goes back to our last Snapchat getting just completely crucified in the comments. I am looking at a green mutant who looks like he just pulled himself a back-to-back She-Hulk, Sarah, Mystique, and Patriot from card pulls with a smile that says, hey, I'm in the meta now, and I rightly deserve to be. I'm not as good as you, Alex. He also is kind of cut, man. I'm noticing he's got some muscles behind that suit. Alex thinks he's creepy here. I think he looks just like a happy little green man.
Dude, understand, how do you not describe his eyes? How do you do all that? You talk about everything. You're talking about his pecs.
They speak to
and
me.
You're not talking about the dead stare eyes. The dude's he's got the 1,000-mile stare. Look at this. It's awful. I can't even physically look at this card.
He looks happy. I think he looks like a
Go back.
happy.
He looks happy.
Okay,
He looks
more than this
happy.
guy. This Leech is like the homeless variant of Leech that like is trying to find like spare change compared to. Look at that. You tell me you want this. There's this Leech, which is the base card, is what we're talking about, and then you have this one. Look at how happy.
You're saying this Leech looks happy. This
Oh,
guy
yeah.
looks like he is high as a kite.
He does
This
look
guy
like-
looks like he is Rocket Man.
Oh, he's
Like,
at Woodstock.
but he's like, I don't even know what this is. I don't know. I can't even continue to describe. You want me to describe cards on our podcast? I physically, like, I can't do it. I can't describe this card. I don't know what it is. It's haunting me.
Note to self: I will will not be showing this variant on our Snapchat again in the future. Yes. So Leech, buddy, I think Leech though. He is an interesting card. If you're having problems with him, again, you can check out the counter guide. But Leech right now, I think the best things to play against him are cards like Zero Decks, if you have like Red Skull, and you could play into that and kind of counter what he's trying to counter. Or, guys, a big play against him too is Infinite. You just throw in the Sunspot Infinite combo. He had just allowed you to play Infinite for free. And it's fantastic. Alex, is there any cards you've been liking to play against Leech?
One thing I want to say about Leech though is I've been playing him almost exclusively in my Electro ramp deck.
Yep.
Oh my god, dropping Leech on turn 4, and there's the other. Obviously, there's the Maximus into Leech play as well. That's been very common. Which guys are like, hey, I got all these cards. All the cards are useless.
Yep. Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
But I mean, Leech is so good. I mean, I really like playing Leech against pretty much anything. Like I confidently throw Leech out. Like even if they have Infinite, but like Infinite like in pool 3 is not common. Like it's only really common in like Jubilee kind of casino like Lockjaw lists, but even Lockjaw, it seems like falling off the meta a little bit. Like, hey, saw this resurgence during the Thanos rush, and then like kind of just like waned a little bit. But I still think it's an amazing card. But like Leech is just no one wants to get leeched, right? Even if you design a deck around Leech, like it just what do you do? Like it's one of those cards. It's like the ultimate counter card, but it also kind of has the Sandman problem where it's like it's weak tempo wise. Like it's a 5/3.
Yeah.
It's a 5/3, right? Like it's so underpowered.
The rescue into Leech is where you can make that up for just such good play there. I don't think he'll be around forever. I think he's a problem as of now kind of thing, just to counter the other problems, right? If you're free to play, man, Leech is your answer because you're able to shut down the Silver Surfer and you can build that deck for pretty much zero pay to win aspects, right? Like Magneto is the hardest card you'll need to go ahead and get. So that's one green little demon. We've got the other one. Now the other one is by far a heavy subject on social media. Anyone talking about Marvel Snap has mentioned Leader.
6 cost, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't even sort there. Has mentioned our boy Leader. I got to go to the better version here. Leader, man, is... I think it's super divisive on Leader right now. You know, top of the, like just right now, should he be nerfed?
Yeah, oh man, I don't even want to say it. I'm not sure. Like I like Leader's design. I think it's one of the like, when you talk about cards that are like meticulously well designed, like whoever designed the card needs a raise. Leader's one of them. Like it is such a great card, isn't it though? Like flavor wise, everything about it, it's so good.
Yeah,
it's such a fantastic card.
So his ability, I don't think needs to get nerfed. No, not at all, guys. I don't think his ability needs to get nerfed. I think what needs to get nerfed is his power. Yeah, take the 4 is too much. I think the 4 is too much power. You know, not being able to know when he's gonna get played is what people complain about, and it is tough because he is a plug and play card with a lot of value. That being said, guys, I've got 30 counters on the guy that you could play. You know, you could do Taskmaster. Devil Dinosaur has been super, super helpful. The biggest counters to this green freaking man, the other green man, is playing cards that don't rely on just huge power drops on turn 6. Playing cards or decks that are designed around strategy and building that you work up during the game. Morbius, right? If you discard a bunch of games and then you put Morbius out there later on, he's not going to get that benefit. Patriot decks, he's not going to get the benefit. Like there, but here's the thing. You just don't know when to play those decks. So for the time being, I would focus on probably playing the decks that do focus on some of the counters to Leader.
I think I talked about this like weeks ago where you asked me like what's something that's always on my mind in turn 6, and I said, does this get beat by Leader? It's like one of those things that's constantly on my mind, and it's funny that Leader like burst into the scene like basically after our conversation.
Yeah.
It's like But like, I don't know how I feel about it because going from like what a 6-3, like that's terrible. Like I think that's worse. I think that like if leader is so prevalent, like one of the ways you
Yeah.
counter leader is just by out tempoing your opponent. So they can't like they're not in a position where playing leader wins them a game. But then again, like even so, like the constant threat of leader sitting in the back of your head, like I don't know.
Well,
Maybe
here's
it's in the wrong spot. Maybe it can't be a 6. Maybe it has to be a 5 because
yeah.
maybe it can't close the game.
The last turn play is what is frustrating because also that's what they're taking away, right? It's the last thing that happened to them in their defeat. That's why they're so angry.
Yeah.
People that post on social media about leader just came off a leader loss, no question. Like there's no way around that. I'll say this: you do have to be a little bit tactful when you play him. You got to make sure you have board space. You have to make sure you play him in the right lane. You have to guess correctly, and so like I'm not gonna just say he's like simple to use. I also want to be on that side of the argument. I'll say this though about leader, he's got to have a little bit of power behind him, like even 3, because if they play Infinite, you play leader, you got to be able to say, hey, I get the little bit more of that bonus there. 4 is just too big of a cushion in my opinion. But dude, I'll never forget, man. I put him in my S tier as one of the best cards, and I got laughed at, and I don't know why, because he has been this way. He has been this way as such a huge card in Snap. I'll say this, Alex, the biggest counter I've played to him so far. Oh, it was so beautiful. I've been playing the 0 deck. I have Luke Cage in the deck. Played him down turn 2. Turn 6, what did I throw out there? Hazmat. Hey, go ahead and throw 2 on the board.
Beautiful.
Go ahead.
Wow.
See what that does for you. Yeah, that was my favorite victory as of yet against the leader here. But yeah, so leader like right now is a big problem. There's ways around him, but I think if we have contenders of the next card adjustments, just by sheer voices, he's gonna get touched up.
I mean, does he have the magic problem where like magic was so for those that don't realize, magic used to be able to be played on turn 6, and that was like brutal. Like when you set up your board and you're like, and then magic comes out on 6, you're like, oh my gosh, right? Like magic was so crippling because of the turn 6 play. Is it possible that leader is that strong because of the fact it's the turn 6 play?
100%.
So do you nerf leader by giving it additional power, playing it on turn 5, and making it so it can't be played on turn 6? Does it get the magic treatment? Does that completely murder the card though? Because it really hurt magic. Like magic became way less valuable.
Yeah.
Because like imagine being in a game, like for those that weren't in the beta, when you're in a game and you have magic, right? And you played on turn 6 and they play their Apocalypse they've been discarding the whole time. You're holding Shang-Chi waiting because it's just the game becomes so trivial.
Yep.
And that's why the change was made to magic. Leader kind of has that same problem where playing leader on turn 6 is like so powerful.
Yeah.
Like so powerful. Like I'm not a game dev. I'm not a game designer, but leader is a wild card, and I'm not sure how I would fix it. Like, is that fair to say that I just don't know?
He's tough.
But I feel like it needs to be fixed.
He's tough to fix. I like the ability. They're going to have to really kind of go back to the drawing board. But hey, if Mr. Negative's out there with his ability, he'll stay too. Power adjustment is where I think it has to happen, because the biggest way you play leader is if you're ahead by 2 on 2 locations, you play him, you win. If you take him down to 2, there's a lot of other cards that can counter that, in my opinion. So we're going to have to see, man. We're going to have to see where he ends up. I'm excited to talk about him in the future for sure. With the leader problem. Let's talk about our next one, huh? Do you have any closing notes on leader?
No, I think you hit it perfectly. I mean, it's a card that like is just so fascinating. The design is great, but and the other thing, like talking about deck archetypes, like leader you can throw in as a splash, like it feels like Chavez sometimes. Or like Chavez, you can just be like, I don't know, Chavez, you just put it in there. Like when do you not want to play leader? Like, when does leader just not fit in a deck?
Yeah,
I mean, it just fits, doesn't it?
He fits in every deck for sure. There's definitely times you don't want to play him, but yeah, he definitely fits into every deck. Like it's like, why would you not include him? It's like Angela, like when she before the big nerf, especially, you're like, oh, a card that I can just scale over the course of the game to get instant value. Like, why would you not include? So it's gonna be interesting to see where leader goes. He's also, man, what a commanding presence here. So leader and Leech, they're all over December 2022. Let's talk about December 2022 and the deck archetypes. Now, Alex, there's so many archetypes out there. We've got, like, if you got the main core ones, and then you've got the more niche, like Sarah, Mr. Negative, those kind as well. So we'll talk about most of them under the sun. We won't rank them in an order, but let's talk about what kind of where we think they are right now as far as strength and which ones kind of need a little bit of help down the line. I mean, we all know it. We don't even really have to spend a lot of time on the top one. I think we know, right, what the top one is at the moment.
Yeah, in my head, it's. Do you want me to say it? Because I bet if we did it, we never get it right. We do it at the same time.
Yeah,
Do
we
you want
can't.
to try the same time?
We can't. You just go. You go ahead and you just say it for the class.
It's going to be the Destroy and Death Wave decks.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Those are like the S tier list right now. Like the Destroy, Death Wave, She-Hulk, Death Wave, Destroy in general. Yeah, 100%. I knew you were going there.
Yeah.
Like they're so good. And like we talk about it, like I feel like we talk about it all the time. Like, is Wave the problem? Is Death the problem? I mean, hey, Leech counters Death. That's great.
Yeah.
But
well, that's why
wild.
he's getting played.
Wild.
That's why Leech is legit getting played, is because of the destroy mechanic. Let me get on to 6 cost here. You just have so much tempo, right? So initiative is so important in Marvel Snap. Hey, guess what? Carnage, Bucky Barnes, initiative, right? You're gonna at least lock down one lane. And then just to be able to build into that, you have the Nova Killmonger right after that, right? So it scales up and up and up until you have a devastating turn 6 as well. And there's cards are just helping it. We just had Noel into the game, right? Noel just came into the game and made it even better. And so, I know a lot of us, what you guys want us to talk about Noel. We did that on the last episode, and we would have the same standpoints. We both don't have them yet.
I have it pinned.
You have it pinned. I would say early impressions I've seen of him is right now in the Leech meta, not near as good. He comes out usually as a 10 on average. That's kind of the things I've seen. Very good card, though. I probably get it, but also destroyed decks might be adjusted in the future, so I don't know. But yeah, we just see cards that keep helping it, right? The destroy meta, She-Hulk, man, just made it even more devastating. So destroy, top of the class. Let's talk about the ones that get less talked about. What would you rank as 2?
I mean, as a broad deck archetype, I would say on reveal.
Mm-hmm.
But like, there's so many flavors of it, right?
Yeah.
So I'll go with on reveal. Cozy, hit me with one of your on reveal decks that you like right now.
Yeah, it's got to be on reveal, no question. Silver Surfer, right? You got the Silver Surfer decks that are just completely very, very, very viable at the moment. I've been playing like a Shiri ramp deck that's been just insanely powerful as well, where you've got Shiri, Wong, and then you could play that into Black Panther. Captain Marvel has a 5/12, even though she's not on reveal. But Shuri brought that, and Silver Surfer. If you look at the new cards, they brought on reveal to that next level, like majorly. What are you laughing at over there?
I'm laughing because like you have this on reveal deck with Wong, and it has Leech and Leader in it. Like,
no,
what?
Okay.
Like,
no.
Like,
this was more
dude,
for a
you're
video.
part of the problem, man.
Listen, it was for a video. Yeah, no, I think I had Leech in there to can't get out of this one. But listen, on reveal,
like, boom. You can't have your abilities twice, bud.
Yeah, pretty much. Just shut him down. But I'll say this: I think on reveal will always be relevant. I think it's the easiest card as far as the designing standpoint goes. So they're going to continue to get those out there. And the thing is, we're going to get more cards that are going to add to that archetype altogether. Odin is that perfect finish. I think on reveal will always be cemented as kind of the 2. And the best part about it, by far, is there's just, like you said, a million flavors under the sun. If you're not a chocolate guy, you could go vanilla. If you're not a vanilla guy, go strawberry, right? Like, there's so many ways to play on reveal. I would put that at 2 confidently number 2. On reveal wise, what's like the one that you'd lean back on right now? I know you're playing ramp, but
yeah, I'm playing a lot of ramp, which I would say is the 3rd, by the way. We'll talk about that in a sec. But I always go to my Wong going. Like, if I have a chance, if I'm like tired and I'm laying in bed and I've been streaming for hours and I just want to keep playing Marvel Snap, which seems crazy. I'm like, hey, I just streamed for 4 hours. I'm laying in bed now to sleep, but I'm playing Marvel Snap because that's what we do. I end up playing my Wong going list. I just love it. I basically, Wong into Spectrum, Quinjets on the board, Colossus on the board, going as wide as possible. Ebony Maw on the board because why wouldn't I? And it's just, I just like it. I like the Spectrum Wong going list. Their competitiveness, I think, is on the lower side of the on reveal, honestly. But I do like them. And then for me, it's like the Odin combo list. Like when you have like the Wolfbanes and the Iron Hearts, White Tigers. Like, I don't get sick of it, man. I just don't get sick of it.
The fact that you could just win a game by doing like Invisible Woman or just Wong, Mystique, and then or Invisible Woman, Wong, Gambit, Odin, you win. Don't worry about the other lanes. Doesn't matter, right? Like that's like there's just small combos that have you win it because of that. And I do. I think on reveal very strong for now, and they will be moving forward. You say ramp, and by the way, guys, Silver Surfer, Sarah Surfer, that's an on reveal essentially for the most part. You could say it's a Sarah archetype. We could say that instead. I think control is interesting because there's so many plug and playable cards that there's really not like just a pure pure archetype of control, but at the same time, you see control cards in the majority of decks at the moment.
I like that. I think you're right. Like you are right. Control as an archetype is definitely good. But like as a deck builder, and tell me if I'm wrong, Cozy, and I need to get called out. I often see control. I know you're gonna hate when I say this because I know you love control. But I often see control not as like an archetype, but as like a splash. Like I splash the control into a on reveal list. I
Yeah.
splash control into a destroy list. I feel like I use it like a tech, but not just like one card. I use like 3 cards, like a package.
Yeah. No, I think control best fits combined with some other combos. I think that's the best way to say it. Like, right now, meta, easily one of the top decks in the game. Devil Dinosaur with Daredevil. Why? Because you're controlling and you're playing another strong combo. You can keep listing this. Storm, Silver Surfer, controlling, adding to the combo. There's a lot of things. Even just rescuing Professor X, we just said it, right? That's a combo that you can add to any other decks as a package. So I would agree, because you can't just focus on like shutdown control. Those are more gimmicky decks at times, right? But the cards were truly made to do that. And heck, you can even see that Second Dinner, there's not a control, in the common abilities, even though it's not an ability, right? But yeah, I would agree there. I think they are, I don't know if they're tech, but yeah, I know what you mean by that. They're more slotted into decks rather than one pure archetype, even though I am making a control deck out here in a second. But yes, I do understand.
And then next for me, I think would be the disruption lists. Like I love disruption lists. Anytime I get to play Hood and kick it over with Viper, I just put a smile on my face and then he just carnages it anyway, and I feel sad. But it's like one of those situations where like I absolutely love playing disruption lists. There is a specific card that I think is really good in disruption lists. Cozy, I don't know if you've ever heard of this card. It's called Arrow. And I feel like I have to bring it up first before you do, because we have to break the pattern of you constantly gushing over Arrow. I look at, okay, bring up the variant that I love. Okay, that one's so good. So many beautiful variants. Okay, Cozy, you got to describe the variant this time. I'm calling you out. Do the variant for us. Look at this one. It is so beautiful. Audio listeners, prime yourselves.
I want you to just picture walking up to a beautiful sunset, and next to you, catch a breeze of just beauty in the air, beauty that you don't even have to look at. It's just the presence of it. That's my girl Arrow, guys. I mean, just look at the way, I don't even know what she's doing there with the moves, with her arm movements. But the card's great, man. It's got a Final Fantasy feel behind it, if that's the best way I can describe it to you. Picture a Final Fantasy character. Arrow, my days get a little bit better. When I pull in Baku, I just think about Arrow, and it kind of takes me back. Takes me back to why I love Marvel Snap. Yeah, dude, Arrow, definition of control, right? Definition of control.
You know what's awesome about Arrow? Arrow could take M'Baku when played and throw it in the garbage.
Ooh. Kind of like play Arrow on garbage, move M'Baku over there? That's what you're trying to...
No. M'Baku gets played, and Arrow, instead of moving it into a lane, just moves it into, like, deletion.
Dude,
like,
you just fixed M'Baku. You fixed M'Baku right there. Right then and there. And it's with my favorite. Yeah, dude, Arrow is just... what made me laugh, man? What made me laugh? Because I've been talking about Arrow for such a long time now, and finally we've got to the snowball of people. What makes me laugh is this Leech deck came out, right? And who's in it? Who's in the Leech deck, right? Arrow. Of course she's in there, because she fits in all the top decks because of the disruption play. If you get ahead on tempo, if you get ahead on initiative, Arrow's going to win you the game. You're going to put their cards in some other lane that you don't really care about. And yeah.
And honestly, it's like equally good on turn 6. Like, it's so good. It's such a good card.
I know.
If they nerf Arrow, what are you going to do? Like, you have to understand, like, this is a possibility.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. I've accepted it. 5/6, I'll still play her. Anything below 5/6, then I don't know. I'm gonna have to think of some other options. But 5/6, I'll play her. Anything other than that, like, hey, it was fun while it lasted, man. And then I'll cry, and mention her on 10 podcasts, and then move on. It's funny you say disrupt, dude. I think discard is probably next in my book, especially with Silver Surfer and Lockjaw at the moment. Probably disruption. I feel like is just such a hit or miss on what they're playing, but it could just be there's times where I get a Hobgoblin on my side on a lane I've been working on, and I'm like, I'm done. It's over. Like, it's time to forfeit, right? Like, it's pretty nasty. Alex, can we both agree right now that I do think move decks are slept on? I think they're better than people can account them for. And maybe that's why it's ranked so low. I think actually move decks are pretty solid. They can be. But my gosh, the amount of thinking compared to like a Patriot deck that you have to do with move, with Dagger, Craven, movement, reading your opponent, than playing Cyclops down.
I think that whatever water bottle that you were just sipping into like a few minutes ago, it must not be filled with water because I think move decks are absolute filth.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well,
I think you're trying to be way too positive. They are so bad right now. Why would you play Human Torch when you can just play Deadpool? Like objectively, like Deadpool is so much easier to play around. Like why?
Yeah.
Why would you try to play Human Torch when you can play Deadpool?
Funny enough, I actually brought that up. I said that Deadpool gains from a Killmonger kill. Human Torch doesn't. Make him a 2/4. Make Human Torch a 2/4 and he becomes an insanely good card. Or even a, maybe 2/3. 2/4 might be a bit too much for his scaling. But like or no, because you move, I don't know. Either way, the one is what just completely wrecks him here. Here's the deal about move and why I'm starting to like it more, and my stance behind it is Absorbing Man. Doctor Strange is just a card, but Absorbing Man, adding every time we get a new card that adds an additional way to move your cards, scales the deck up. Vulture becomes better. Silver Surfer made Doctor Strange and Vulture even better. But even each time that now Absorbing Man is being played as a card that can move your cards again, continue the scaling. Because what happens is you go through all this effort to scale these cards and they still can't match the base power of these other decks. So once we get some more cost-efficient options, not just Iron Fist, Doctor Strange, and Heimdall, or Cloak, but that's when I think we start to really see move get better. I think it's decent right now. It's definitely the worst. It's the worst. It is the worst archetype, though, for sure.
Yeah, it just feels really awkward to play. It's missing a few key pieces. And yeah, like you have to invest so much effort mentally with like the macro management of the board. And it feels like you're just struggling to keep up with like, oh, you just played Black Panther and Zola. Like I just lose. It's like all this effort and like a guy drops Devil Dinosaur Zola and you just get clapped. It's like, it feels so defeating. It can feel very unrewarding. I like your idea about Human Torch not being a 1. And I think the other card, if you want to fix, I don't want to say fix move or anything, because like I'm not a game dev or designer. But what about Dagger? Like, is that not a completely unappreciated card? Like, if Dagger was adjusted ever so slightly, could that card be one of the ones that like, oh, that could actually be spicy? Like, think about it. Like, it could kind of do what Human Torch does, except it's countering the other side of the board.
Yeah.
How could you adjust Dagger to make it more playable and just boost the stock of move decks in general?
Yeah, again, I don't know if Dagger needs adjustment. I think we just need more move options, because if you can move Dagger to these other locations more often, then you're going to be boosting her up even further and faster. So like it's the ability. I think there's a card coming out in the future called Ghost Spider, just not Ghost but Ghost Spider, and it's like a 3-cost move too, or maybe 2 cost. Like that's the stuff we need, right? We need more movement to get these cards to scale the way they need to, because you work too damn hard to have them not pay off enough. Love the card too, man. Dagger's such a fun looking card, without question. Lastly, I'll say this, right now, I'll stand behind it. Deck guide coming on it. 0. If you have 0, it is by far one of the decks you have to have so many pull 3 cards. You have to have so many pull 3 cards. But my God, dude, it's insane at the moment. It is such a good archetype that's getting better and better. Heck, Sentry's coming out next week. He'll add to that deck. So I do love 0 decks as well for an archetype.
Yeah, 0 decks are fun. In my experience, I found them like slightly less consistent than I would like. Like it's hard. It's sometimes it feels hard to like really put so much stock into like a few specific combos. I shouldn't even say that, man. Like, you know what? I'm selling it too short. I think you're right. I think it's better. I think I'm bad. But okay, I'm gonna accept that. I'm bad.
I'll say this.
Better.
This is the deck I used. It was good. Sherry made it great. It was good. It was okay. The fact that I could play Sherry turn 4, play either Typhoid or Red Skull turn 5 and get 20 or 30, and then I Taskmaster that, and I get a 30 card by itself. Or wait, no, I get Arnim Zola and I take 2 Red Skulls. Or wait, one more time, She-Hulk. I play nothing on 5, and because Taskmaster's a 5 cost, She-Hulk's 1, I can play them both. That's 25 power spread out. So I think it's a highly slept on deck. And right now, I honestly have about a 70% win rate with my 0 deck at the moment. It's killing it. It's crushing it. But dude, the problem with 0 is that you don't want to buy Red Skull. You don't want to buy Typhoid. You don't want to buy these cards. They don't fit anywhere else. You want to buy Arrow. You want to buy the cards that fit into other decks. These are niche ass cards, but they're very fun and powerful down the line. And like, dude, I love Red Skull. He's got some cool art behind him. No question about it. But yes, 0's up there as well. I think those are like the main ones. You know, Mr. Negative we talked about as well earlier, kind of up there with the on reveal at the moment. Yeah, dude, I will say this: we thought Destroyer was gonna fall down. I have not seen near as many Destroyers since that nerf, by the way.
No, not at all. And Destroyer's like completely disappeared from the meta. Which is crazy because like it's literally a one power change, but like it's gone. Zulus, I feel like okay, tell me if I'm crazy, but do we need to find some way to boost Zulus up a little bit? Like I know like okay, our Patriot Mystique list technically Zulus, kind of, right? Kind of.
Yeah, kind of. Thanos is the thing that I think that added to Zoo, right? It's kind of funny, right? Because you see Zoo so much in pool 1 that you're just like glad it's gone, and so like, yeah, Killmonger, man, he's just as long as that card's out there. But here's the deal, right? The meta changes. So with Leech coming out, Killmonger's played less, and so then you could start playing Zulus more because there's less counters for your Zulus. It's playing the right archetype at the right time. And right now, Zoo's actually pretty hot. The Killmonger's, he's out there. He's always out there. Nova, whatever, right? But he's out there, I think, less right now than he has in previous metas.
Yeah, we almost need like a card that like defends one drops from being Killmonger. Like there needs to be like a Zoo card that's like, no, it's armor except just one.
Like,
just one.
No one, and then you could like counter the Deadpools out there too or something.
Yeah, it's basically like Nick Cage, except instead of like preventing the drop in power, you prevent the destruction of one cards.
Rework M'Baku. There you go. There it is. Right there. There
Yeah,
it is.
M'Baku, you play it and it just deletes itself from the game and your collection.
Right there, dude.
Better than it is now.
What subjects today, man? Like we had some awesome subjects today, huh?
Yeah, we did. We talked. My voice is like hoarse from
Done.
like this is by far the longest set of podcasts we've ever done.
I've gone through like 4 water bottles that I think you think at this point is vodka. But yeah, I've been just down in the water bottles over here, guys. And thank you guys for listening to these core subjects. Alex, I think that we touched on things that needed to be talked about. We talked about the fun subjects. And as always, I want to hear from you guys what else you would like us to bring up in the Snapchat altogether.
Yeah, and another note here is that guys, these are available on Apple, Google Podcasts, on podcasts basically pretty much everywhere. And we would love to hear your thoughts. If you actually have platforms and stuff that you're not seeing, please let us know. We're still working on it. But it's pretty much available everywhere now. We would love if you went, download the audio version. I think it's a great thing to listen to, you know, on your jog around the block, on your way to work, whatever it might be. And we really appreciate your support, guys. The support for the podcast has been truly remarkable. And I don't want to speak on behalf of Cozy, but Cozy, like isn't just like so heartwarming to see the amount of support we've got. Like this is by far one of the most treasured things I do every single week. And I'm so happy to be able to share it with you and with everyone else.
Without question. Love filming it. Love just being able to have a community around it, guys. You guys have made this all possible for the Snapchat and excited for the future of it.
Yep. And guess what, guys? There's more. There's always more because we've got Cozy's video right there in the center of the screen that you can click. Thank you so much. Thank you, Cozy. And we'll see you guys in the next Marvel Snap video.